level understanding of SVM, you can use this blog. You can go through this blog. So in this tutorial, we will discuss how we can do SVM classification using Python. We are using a data set called by my Indians diabetics database. The objective of the data set is to diagnostically predict whether or not a patient has diabetes. It has some clinical features. Based on the feature, you have to predict, because SPM is a classifier, we have to predict whether the patient has diabetes or not, yes or no. So it's a binary classification. So for any data, any machine learning project, let's start. We have to first load the data. So we are importing pandas. Diabetics is the data set we are using. It is available in the data set diabetes.csv. So we are loading the data into our program. So data is a data frame, again data frame. We are reading using pd.read underscore csv, which is a csv file. Then we can go through the data, we can understand the data. Print data.shape, it has 768 data records and 9 columns. This is actually a tuple. The tuple, you may remember, they're represented by a tuple, a simple bracket, parenthesis. And sample data, we can print the head value. So first 5 values will be printed. The features are pregnancies, glucose, blood pressure, skin thickness, insulin level, BMI value, diabetics, pedigree function, some clinical test results, age, and finally the outcome will be either 0 or 1. That is, 1 means if the patient have diabetics, 0 means the patient not have diabetes. So this is the data set. Now we are going to separate the features into features and label. Normally for a supervised data training, we are giving 2 arguments, the feature vector followed by a label x, y. Training implies 2 input values x and y. So based on the input features, we will see whether the prediction is correct. Based on the prediction, we will compare it with the actual value and make the corrections. So we need the actual label. A label data set is required for prediction, supervised learning. So in here we are first we will separate them into features and labels. So pandas we can use using this function. Data is a data frame. So data of outcome is the feature column name. So you will get the corresponding values, labels into this variable label. So label is a list that contain all the outcome values. Then other 8 columns are the features. So based on these 8 features, we are predicting the label. Okay, so we are taking the feature into, that is, we will drop the column. We first take the data from labels, outcome. So outcome is now available in variable label. Then all other columns correspond to features. So we drop the outcome variable there from there. So all other 8 columns correspond to the features. That is features. We can identify these are the features: pregnancies, glucose, blood pressure, skin thickness, insulin, BMI, and age. These are the 8 features we are using. So X contain the corresponding values and Y corresponds to the outcome variable's value. Now, any supervised method have 2 steps, or any machine learning stuff, we have to first learn the model, then make the prediction, then test the model. So training and testing are the 2 steps. So for experiment purpose, what we are doing is we will split the entire data set into 2 portions, that is training set as well as testing set. So we can use a function called train underscore set underscore split, that will split the data set into training and testing set. So the variable we are using are x underscore train, x underscore test, corresponding to the features for training and testing, and the corresponding labels y underscore train and y underscore test, that represent the corresponding labels. And the parameter we are following is a 0.33, that is 0.33%, that is 33% of the data will be used for testing, and remaining 77 will be used for training. And this splitting is randomly, so we will initialize the random seed with 10. We can give any value, that is not important. In order to get the same result, we are putting some seed values here. Then, since we are going to perform a classification task, we will use the support vector classifier. So first step is loading the data. We'll apply some pre-processing if the data, when we go through the data, if we find some missing values in the data, we may replace them with some average or mean value. But this data set have no missing value. We didn't check that step. So there may be some pre-processing. After that, we will split the data into training and testing set. Now we are going to classify. So create a model. The model we are going to create use is support vector machine. So support classifier is the object. We will take the model from import scikit-learn, scikit-learn sklearn.svm import svc. Svc is the, that is support vector classifier, is the corresponding classifier name that is available in support scikit-learn. See, this is how we are importing one package from sklearn. Sklearn is the large package. Inside sklearn we have svm package. Inside svm we are importing the particular class called svc. Okay, from a large package, take the corresponding, import the corresponding class. We are not importing entire package. We are just importing the class necessary that required for the classification. So svc is the corresponding name that is given in sklearn. svc classifier is equal to sv of, they appear, different kernels are available. So here we are using simple linear kernel. So kernel equal to linear. So after creating the model or loading the model, we have to train the data set. So training means the model need to fit on the data set. So in training step, we have to give two input, that is that feature set followed by the label. So we will train the model. So svc classifier dot fit the data. Data are features and corresponding label. So after running, executing this step, we will get the corresponding svc value. So now this svc classifier ready to, SV classifier, support vector classifier is ready to predict or ready to test on some new data set. Learned with this data set, now we are going to predict. You can call the function called svc classifier dot predict for the test data. So y predict equal to that corresponding value. So very simple step. First load the data, pre-process if required, then split the data set into training and testing data. Fit the model, that is train the model using the training set. Then using the test set, predict the make the predictions. After prediction, you have to evaluate the model. So this is the corresponding confusion metric. You will get precision, recall, and F1 score. And the model has something accuracy or precision of 0.76, have recall of 0.90, and F1 score of this one. For each class, you will get the corresponding value. For the 0 class, you have these values, and for one class 1, you have these values. And average, you have 0.75 precision, 0.75 recall, and F1 score of 0.74. There are many other methods, like you can compute the accuracy of the model. You can compute the ROC value of the model. There are a lot of other methods to evaluate. All such functions are available in the package sklearn.metrics. So you evaluated the model. You can even print the corresponding confusion metrics that say how the different predictions are appeared, true value, true positive, and true negative ratios. So let me conclude this classification. Very simple step. With the background of SVC, you can simply apply how different kernels applied on the data works on the data. SVC is a simple binary classifier. You can use it for multiple classifier itself, but basically it is theoretically it is a binary classifier. So you are taking the data. First step is load the data, pre-process the data, split the data into training and testing data set. Then take a model. Here it is SVC. Specify the kernel, whatever parameter required for support vector machine. You specify them. Then fit the data, fit the model on this data. So you will get a trained model. Using that trained model, you predict. You make the prediction using test data. Clear? So this is the steps that is implemented here. So you can try yourself, and then after making the prediction, you can evaluate the prediction. If it is not fine, you can change the kernel. You can try with another kernel how it is performing. You can compare the results. And for different kernels, you can, after getting the results, you can plot them using matplotlib. You can plot the results and say which model is better. You can select which model is better, which kernel is better for this data set. So this is how you are using this algorithm, that is SPC algorithm. So far we discussed about supervised learning. Now we are moving to one unsupervised learning. We will take simple example on k-means algorithm. Okay, clustering is nothing but grouping the data. We are provided some data. We need to cluster them into some groups. In clustering algorithm like k-means, we'll specify we need to find 3 groups from this data. So based on the similarity between the data, we can group them into that number of number of clusters. Okay. So k-means is the simplest algorithm that that are used for clustering. In k-means, we will find the the non-overlapping clusters. Each cluster is separate. The idea is that the difference between the similarity between the points belongs to different cluster are maximum. That is, inter-cluster similarity between the data point is very high. Intra-cluster, that is within the cluster, the data points are very similar. Okay. So the basic idea is like that. We have a data set like x equal to, we have different points x1, x2, x3, x5, x4. And they have points like v1, v2, vk. And from this point, we find some cluster centers like v1, v2, v3 up to vk. We randomly pick some centers v1, v2, v3, vk. We have n data points and k centers, cluster centers. So we need k clusters. So we randomly select k cluster centers. These are v1, v2, v3, vk. Then for each data point, we will calculate the distance between these points from the center x1 to v1, x1 to v2, x1 to up to vk, and assign x1 into the cluster with minimum distance. If x1 and v2 are the minimum distance, we will assign x1 into the cluster v2, the cluster with center v2. This process will be repeated. After that, we can get k clusters. We will recompute the cluster centers by taking the mean of each cluster. So new cluster center will be mean of the new cluster. All data points belongs to that. Suppose x1, x2 and x10 belongs to v1. We'll take the mean of that value and take that as the new cluster point. Again, this process will repeat. Again, we will try to cluster the data points into that point. We'll repeat the process until there is no change. So it is an iterative algorithm. We will iteratively cluster the data. We will compute the cluster the data. We will compute the new mean. Again, new center. This become the new center. Repeat the clustering until there is no change. So distance normally used is Euclidean distance. We can easily compute the Euclidean distance between the points. So this is how k-means working. Okay, now we can try an example. Let us implement k-means clustering using a famous dataset called IRIS dataset. This contains 3 classes of 15 instances. Each class refers to a type of iris plant. Different iris plants are there. There are different features like sepal length. 4 features are there: sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width. So based on these values, there will be corresponding plant type. Okay, so this data set is freely available on most of the platforms. You can easily use this iris.csv file. So this is, if it is not available, it is already available in the shared data set. You can use them, iris.csv. Now, this is the data. We have 150 data sets, data records. Each have 4 values and the corresponding variety. The label will be corresponding variety. So we are not interested in outcome variable now because we are going for an unsupervised learning. We need to convert them into 3 clusters, 3 number of clusters, because there are 3 types of plants, iris plants are in the data set. So we need to convert this data points into three clusters. Okay. So before going to the data, let's visualize the data. We can see that these have 3 classes. There are 3 classes. Now we are applying k-means algorithm to cluster them into 3 groups. Okay. So this is how we have printed the code. I'm not going to the details of how we are visualizing the data. Just we are using matplotlib. You can go through the code. These are some of the beautification process in order to get this kind of lines. We are using some more code. The basic thing is you can use a scatter plot, vlt.scatter with x and y parameters. Then the y label, the x label and y label can be, that is list. These two things can be written using x label and y label. Then there is legend function is there. You can apply legend if you want. After that, you can call plot.show in order to print the data here. So in clustering, we are not using the label. So x equal to the features 0, 1, 2, 3. So four values of the column, first four columns are taken as the feature vector. So each vector have four values. It is a 4 by 150 by 4 matrix. This is the feature matrix. X is the feature matrix. Now we are applying this feature matrix on the scikit-learn using k-means. We are learning k-means, fitting the data on k-means data. So k-means dot fit x. First create the object of k-means. K-means equal to k-means of number of cluster. We have three varieties of plants, iris plants. So we put number of clusters equal to 3. K-means dot fit, we'll fitting the data. Cluster is equal to k-means dot predict x. So for given x data set x, we can predict the corresponding. So first load the data. If you are interested, you can visualize the data. Then take the features. Then we are loading the model. We are creating the model k-means. Then learning the model. The model learns the parameters using the data set. So k-means dot fit the model. Then you can predict the result using dot predict function. Okay, so you will get three clusters that are marked with 0, 1, 2 and 3, 0, 1, 2, and the corresponding cluster center can be you can got the corresponding cluster center 1, 2, 3. These are the three cluster centers 1, 2, 3. Each have 4 points. So our cluster center is defined by 4-dimensional vector. So this is first center, second center of the second cluster, and third cluster. And how it is clustered, you can see the clustering. This is the first cluster, this is the second cluster, this is the third cluster. So this clustering give good results. You can easily visualize the data, how the clustering k-means algorithm clustered the data points into 3 groups. So this was the actual data. You clustered them into 3 groups. Okay, these are the corresponding cluster centers. Is it clear? So we can stop with this one more example. This is another unsupervised method, dimensionality reduction using principal component analysis. Okay, principal component analysis is a method that is used to uh, principal component analysis that is used for mainly used for identifying the principal components, that is important features, so that we can reduce the dimension of the feature. Suppose a document is represented by a data set is represented by say 1,000 features. Many of the features may not be important. So if we can take the essence of that feature, some features have some similarity. So instead of that 1,000 features, if we can represent them by 100 significant features, it can be a 100-dimensional picture vector. Instead of 1,000 dimension, we can move them down them into reduce them into say 100 dimension. This is called feature reduction. So in order, what we are doing in PCA is that we are trying to move this document into a lower dimension, say from high dimension n to a lower dimension k. The principal components that are the mathematics part is actually eigenvalues and eigenvectors. We will take the this eigenvalues as a principal component. So input is m by n data and find the eigenvalues of that matrix, input matrix, sort the eigenvalues, and decreasing order we will select the first k element eigenvalues and the corresponding projections. So k will be less than n, so it will be lowered into a low dimension k. We'll take a toy example. We have 200 dimensional 2 matrix. That means 200 records and 2 columns. We'll create a random matrix using NumPy. So NumPy is imported as NP. NumPy is imported as NP. We are also using pandas. That is not required. So plot is matplotlib is used for visualization. So first create a random state np.random.random state of 1 rng. So this is an object. So using this object, we are creating a matrix of 2 by 200, 200 by 2. So its shape is 200 by 2. We are creating a matrix. So we can plot the matrix like this. This is the plotting. Now we are currently X is a two-dimensional matrix, 200 rows and 2 columns. Our objective is to project them into a one-dimensional space. We are moving them into a one-dimensional space. That is what we require. This is very simple example. This is not real-time example. In real time, you have some 1000-dimensional vector, and you need to represent them into, or at least 10-dimensional data. You have to reduce into some 4-dimensional data. But here, for the explanation purpose, I will take a simple example with 200 data and 2-dimensional column, 200 by 2, and we are taking them like this. X is currently 2-dimensional. We are moving them into 1-dimensional space. So you can find the PCA. This function is available in scikit-learn decomposition. Scikit-learn dot, that is sklearn dot decomposition, import PCA. You are importing the module PCA. Now the object PCA equal to PCA of number of components required. We require one component from this 2-dimensional data. So number of components can be specified here. Then apply the PCA algorithm on this data, PCA.fix of fit of X. We are taking the data X. This is an unsupervised learning, no need of labels. So we are taking the data points, that is a feature vector. We will apply the PCA on the data set. We are learning the principal components from the data. Then we will transform the principal components. We will get X underscore PCA as the principal component. So X is, we learned the PCA, and using PCA we'll transform the X into a new variable XPCA, which is 1-dimensional data. So you can see the shape here. Original original data set was X. Its shape is 200 by 2. We transformed them into a single dimensional data using PCA, 200 by 1. So you can see this as the transformed data. The blue points represent the original data, and we transform them into a single point. This is the corresponding transformed data. So this is about PCA. So far what we discussed is how we can implement some of the traditional machine learning things. We have not touched any deep learning or neural network based learning. We'll discuss them in the next class. So today we started with basics of Python. I quickly introduced Python from beginning to basic Python. Its condition, basic constraints, how to represent conditions or loop functions, and different data structures that are required, the important data structure in Python, how to import packages. There are a lot of other things to learn, but for quick understanding of this course, machine learning based Python tutorial course, this background is necessary. So you just first go through the that sample course on basics of Python, then take this tutorial, go to each case, first read the code, try to understand what is working there. So if you know what is regression, you can easily understand what is implemented in the Python, how it is implemented using Python. We are just following the same algorithm. If it is regression, we are taking the data, we are finding the, we are implementing, we are not implementing the corresponding equation. It is already abstracted in a function in scikit-learn. We are just calling that function. Then we are loading the data model, we are training the model, we are making the prediction, we are evaluating the model. So the steps are very simple, very similar in all cases. The data, the function that we are using will be changed. In regression, it is linear regression function, is linear regression. If it is SVM, we are using SVC. If it is PCA, we are using PCA. So the procedure is same. The pipeline we are following in machine learning, building a machine learning application is same. The things that make complex is what analysis we are making. If we want to predict something important, say the weather conditions or some stock value prediction. So the 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 program, the importance of program depends on what we are going to analyze. The method is same. You can try different models on this data. You can find the accurate model or the best model that fit on the data set, because all model may not fit on the say fit on all the data set. That depends on the data set. Some for some data set this model will be helpful. So you can experiment with different models. You can take the accuracy, you can evaluate the model, you can take the accuracy or recall precision, whatever it is, you can take the value, you can plot them using matplotlib and find which model is best. So this is the outline of how you can use Python for machine learning, traditional machine learning application. I recommend you to go through this tutorial and experiment these things. You just take the code, and I already shared the PDF file, so you can take the code, run on your Colab or your local machine. So with let me
Okay.
conclude now. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Uh, there are some benchmark data set available in literature. You can use that data set. If you want to create your own data set, one idea is take some photos of the characters. You ask some person, group of people to write certain characters. You can take the photo of that image of that characters, store in some particular format, uh, say 128 into 128, from some image format. You can store them in particular format. If you want, you can also try different angle. You can take different angle of the same photo, so that the machine can learn effectively. So the idea is you can create your own data set by taking simple images and convert them into standard format. OpenCV is one of the packages that you can use for image processing, image related thing. So you can try with OpenCV how to convert them into some standard format. You can specify the resolution. So all images should be in the same. So thank you all.